People have been asking me to do an update video on my Rolls-Royce Phantom, and I haven't done one in like a year, so I thought we would go ahead and do that today. Last time we did an update video on the Phantom, I had to replace the front air shocks, and we had to take it over to the BMW only Werkstatt up here on Ramrod on Green Valley here in Las Vegas. And I have had an ongoing issue with the car that I've been dealing with over the last year, actually for the last couple of years. And I did want to talk about it. There's not going to be a lot of visual stuff here. It's going to be a lot of talking. But basically, when I had first got the car, it was running a little rough. You can go back like 2 years and you can see some of the things we've done on the car where we did the lower control arms, the shocks. You know, I had to replace like a door lock and some other goofy things. But we got into the engine of this car and I needed to replace the injectors. It started running rough. I had replaced the high pressure fuel pumps that go onto the side of the motor. If you're familiar with these cars, it does use the drivetrain from a BMW 760 series, the Li V12. Now, if anybody ever tells you, hey, the Rolls-Royce Phantom is just a 7 series, it's not. It does have the same engine block and the main drivetrain from a 760, the transmission, but there's a lot of differences and a lot of upgrades and a lot of things done to it. But the entire car, the chassis, everything inside, this is all Rolls-Royce. There's no BMW stuff here. This is all Rolls-Royce, okay? Just the engine and the computer that you hear making the little bing bongs in there is from the 7 series. What I want to talk to you about is buying Chinese rebuilt parts off of eBay. And this is where things went wrong. I needed to probably replace my high pressure fuel pumps. Now, the original Bosch units of those things are like $2,000 a piece and there's 2 of them. Plus there's the labor. Well, I got a couple of them off of eBay rebuilt from China for $400 or $500 a piece. Thought that would work. They didn't. I also bought a set of 12 what I thought were new Bosch injectors from these Chinese people. What they do is they just take old ones, clean them up, and put them into fake Bosch boxes. They sold me fake injectors, and I paid to have them put in twice. And I still could not get the car to pass inspection, idle correctly, turn off the check engine light. It was stuttering. It was running hard. It was hard to start. And I had taken it to the BMW only, and they said, look, we've gone through this thing. You've got 2 bad injectors. I said, how could that possibly be the issue? I've already replaced all the injectors. Not to mention, I also did all the plugs and coils myself right over there. I was going to make a video about it, but I did it so quickly, I didn't even have a chance to make a video of it. It was actually really easy. But anyway, they said, so I paid them something like $3,000 to replace those 2 injectors because they have to pull the whole top and take off and everything. And they go, it would have been better to just replace them all, but you really only needed those 2. And then he came back to me and he said, your high pressure fuel pumps are bad. I'm like, how can that be? I've already replaced them. He goes, yeah, but you replaced them with Chinese crap. So I had to replace them again. So all in all, I think I've spent almost $10,000 since I've owned the car and working on the same fuel problem over and over. So what I want to try to say to you is that don't try to do what I did and try to take the cheap route and buy these rebuilt Chinese fuel pumps, injectors, anything that has to do with the fuel system. Just don't. Just go ahead and buck up and pay the money. Now, this is my second Phantom that I've owned. And I've owned a lot of other cars with complicated fuel systems like this. And the thing that makes the Phantom version of this engine a little bit different than the 760 is that the fuel system, the air system, the exhaust system is designed to be much more quiet. It's running. Can you hear it running? Let me put my microphone up to it. Can you hear? You can hear this fan. This is it. Where's my microphone? You can hear this fan running. You cannot hear the engine running. When it's running correctly, you cannot hear. If I stand back here, feel the car, no vibration, nothing. You will not even know the thing is running. Can't say that about a 760 series. And anybody who gives you this buck about, you could have bought a Mercedes, you could have bought a BMW, blah, 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 blah. It's just a BMW. I hear all these comments. Let me tell you something. I live here in Las Vegas. When I pull up to Caesar's Palace or any place in this thing, they park it up front. They will move a McLaren, a G-Wagon out of the way to park a Rolls-Royce Phantom up front. Look at this majestic beast. There is nothing more beautiful than this car. So bottom line is really, if you're gonna buy one of these, and you can pick up a 2003 and up Phantom, that's when they started making these, you can get them for just under 100 grand. They've held their value pretty strong around that area. I've found them cheaper than that, but my gosh, if they're gonna find one that's in the high 80s or whatever, be prepared to drop some money. If you buy one of these cars, you need to have about a $10,000 bank at the ready to throw at this car at any time. This is not for the wannabe gangster who wants to be cool and pretend to be rich. They are still very expensive cars. I just had a conversation with a guy with a 1997 Bentley who wanted to sell the thing for like 7 or 8 grand, but it wasn't running. I said, bro, it could cost $20,000 to get that car sorted and back on the road, and you can buy one for 15 that drives. So it's my opinion that you want to find one that doesn't have too many miles, but not too low of miles, somewhere in between there. This car has over 70,000 miles. I have driven this thing to death. I daily drive this car. So everything for it is expensive. The tires, these tires, they only make 2 tires for this car, and they're $500 a piece. Be prepared for that, because you have to run flats on the car. These fenders are composite. You have a blowout, you're talking about like a $30,000, $40,000 repair. I am not kidding. To replace the fender and the paint and everything, forget about it, okay? One of the most expensive paint jobs of any production car, $30,000 to paint a Rolls-Royce Phantom if you have to do the whole car. If you want to wrap the car, you're still gonna spend 10 grand on it, okay? Because it's just so big. It's 6 inches longer than my Ford Excursion. Look how huge this thing is. God forbid you have some kind of a fender bender. This grille, 20 grand. Hood ornament, 3 grand. Headlights, you might spend 3, 4, 5 grand a piece on those. Hell, I spent 700 or 800 bucks on this trim ring that was missing. Every little thing on the car that's Rolls-Royce related is expensive. You're very lucky that they did use a BMW 760 V12 engine in there, because at least you can get those parts from a BMW dealer if you know the right guy to talk to. Because if you go to the BMW and you tell them it's a Rolls-Royce, they won't sell you parts. You need to use a BMW VIN in order to get those parts. Let me give you an example. There are 2 liquid-cooled alternators in this car. From Rolls-Royce, those are about 2 grand a piece, not including the labor. Getting them from BMW, about half of that. I got one from O'Reilly's, a reman that was for the 760. It was only about $600, and we did it ourselves. But oh my God, what a chore that was. So things like that. For instance, there is a pipe that runs from the water pump under the intake into the motor, and the seals on that can go, and that's happened on my other car. That's normally an engine out job. You're talking about a $10,000 project to replace that pipe. But I managed to get it done using, there's a fella who makes a pipe that is in 2 pieces and screws together so that you don't have to pull the whole engine out to fix it. But anyway, you know, still going to spend a couple of $1,000 anytime you have to pull that intake and those baffles and things off. This car's probably going to need new catalytic converters, because since I've been driving it around for the last couple of years, dumping gas into it with the bad injectors and fuel pumps, and it was over fueling, I might be able to save my cats using enough cat clean and whatnot. But if I have to replace those cats, man, those are going to be a couple of, it's probably going to cost me about 4 or 5 grand to do that. We ended up modifying, we didn't modify the thing, but we ended up replacing the O2 sensors, putting spacers on them, and a couple other things, because my upstream seems to be doing okay. It's the downstream that's not doing so okay. That's a whole other conversation. But all I can tell you is, at this moment, for the first time in 2 years, I have this car running with no engines on the no lights on the dash, no check engine light. And that is a miracle, an absolute miracle on a Rolls-Royce Phantom of this era. It's just crazy. All that said, I love the car. All right, I want to talk to you about what you want to look for if you want to buy one of these cars. I want to point out a couple of things, why I bought this car to replace my other Phantom. let me show you a couple of things you want to look for when you're shopping for one of these if you want to buy one. Now, even though these were highly customized cars, you're going to see them in all kinds of different colors. Most of the time you find them, they've got this peanut butter interior. I don't know why people chose this tan. It literally looks like, you know, Skippy peanut butter interior. I've seen so many cars with that color. Bleh. I was so lucky to find this one in black interior. And I see them all the time, like people go in, they get this weird burgundy, mauve, you know, like, I just wanted a plain, regular black interior. Gray is also nice. I wouldn't want one that's white just for me because I always wear black. But there's not a lot of options. You cannot change really anything in the car. How it comes is how it comes. You can't change out the stereo. You can't add anything to it, really. You can a little bit. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. But some of the basic things, you got to remember, it wasn't until 2012 that they mandated having rear view cameras in the cars. This being a 2006, did have the optional rear camera, which is this tiny little camera just to the left of the Rolls-Royce logo. If you're shopping for one of these cars, look carefully to see if it has the camera system. There'll be this little tiny camera that's right here by the Rolls-Royce logo, and there's another one at the front of the car. I'll show you a close-up of that. That is, you know, right under the front license plate. And the reason it's kind of triangular shaped is it doesn't look forward, it looks left and right. It's looking through a prism, and you can, what it is when you're pulling out of your driveway, you can poke the nose out of the alley or whatever, and you can see left or right to see if anything's coming. And how that operates is you flick your brights twice, and it turns on the camera. Really neat little system, actually, and it works well, but it's not super high resolution. You gotta remember this 2006. Also, this car came with Bluetooth phone connectivity, so you can make phone calls but not streaming. You have an in-dash CD player. You also have an under-dash CD changer, which is, I think, just a Pioneer system. And then it actually has a DVD video system under the right passenger rear seat that uses basically the same exact system, only in DVD. And those will play through the rear video screens, and I think also in the front dash. This also has Sirius XM radio, which is something I love. I pretty much just listen to First Wave and Hair Nation and stuff like that all the time. So having those couple of things meant the world to me. It also has a sunroof. So those are really all of the options for this car. Now, the other options that you could get were more interior related, like if you got the executive seating, which would have the console in the middle of the rear, and you could have the little refrigerator thing in the back. I prefer actually having the bench seat because generally when I use this car, piling a bunch of people in there, you can fit like 4 people in the back of there, unless they're from Texas and they're fat. but no, you can fit a lot of people in the car, and with that console you can only fit 2. So I prefer having the bench seat, honestly, because that's one of the fun things about this car is piling it up full of people and picking up your friends from the airport and all those things. Another option you could have, real quick, let me grab the key. And I talked about this in another video. I'm going to turn it off. Is the power trunk. It works by remote, and it's hydraulically powered. They get it's a little chilly out. They get a little slow after a while. I do need to work on it. Oh, look, they put my parts in here from working on it. There's my old fuel pump. So look at there. This is how you know you're dealing with a good company. These guys, there it is, brand new OEM Bosch box. They put my old one in the box, showing me proof that they bought an original Bosch part. Thank you so much, Vuxstat, for that. Victor over there. Anyway, my first Phantom, it didn't have any features on it. It had just a pop trunk that you had to close by hand. Oh, these poor first world problems I have. I can't use my arms to close the trunk. It has to be powered. But these are the kind of things. Now, they all have the umbrellas in the doors. They all have the retractable mascot that goes up and down. They all have the airbag lift system. But this car was optioned out to the max with the exception of the console and the fridge. It had everything on it, and that's why I decided to get rid of my 2004 and go with this 2006. So just keep in mind that if you get one of the cheaper stripped down models, you cannot change the stereo. You cannot add a camera, right? I mean, unless you put another screen and stick it on the dash and you ghetto it, all right? But there's really no way to do it right. Just trust me on this. The key. Make sure if you're getting the car, if you can, to get 2 keys. This key, to replace this key, is about $1,500. It is a sealed, induction charged key. I did a video about how I sawed the key in half to solder in a new battery and everything. If you go to your Rolls-Royce dealership to get one of these, you're looking at about 1,500 bucks to replace this key. So if you can get both keys and they're in good condition, that's a good thing. Here's the familiar bong of the 7. Now you have to put your foot on the brake to start it. Hold on. Starts and runs. Let's turn this wheel. Let's talk about these wheels. I did a video about these wheels before, in one of my previous videos from a couple of years ago. You want to stay away from the 2003, 2004 early models. Check if you're buying the car. Check to see if the wheels are PAX, P-A-X, PAX. PAX was a proprietary run flat system that was only on 2 vehicles. This, and I want to say it was like a Toyota minivan or something goofy. It takes a special machine to take the wheels off. You cannot get the tires. So when you see some low mileage one of these, like a 2004, and it's got like 5,000 miles and has the original wheels and tires, just know that you have to replace the entire wheels. You cannot replace the tires on a PAX system, the PAX. So look very carefully at the tire and the wheels, and you can I know what they look like, but check that out, because you could easily spend up to $20,000 or more on these wheels. Each one of these rims is about $4 grand a piece from Rolls-Royce, and these tires, as I told you, are about $500 a piece, up to $1,000 a piece. So, you know, and then that doesn't include things like every one of these little chrome strips, this center cap, or this bezel for the center cap. When I got this car, I found these OEM rims, or no, these were the rims that came with the car. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about my other car. This one came with the OEM rims, but they were all messed up. It was missing some of the chrome strips. Some of the hubcaps are missing. So I had the wheels blasted and powder coated silver. I found a place that sold these little chrome strips for like 25 bucks a piece. Had to replace all of them all the way around. I want to say the hubcaps were about 700 a piece. So, you know, I spent thousands and thousands of dollars to get these wheels together the way you see them now. And I wanted the factory OEM wheels. You can find aftermarket wheels, but sometimes you're going to pay even more for those. And it's going to ruin the ride. You want that big meaty tire on there. When I bought my first 2004 Phantom, I think I had these 26-inch low-profile wheels, and it rode like shit. And it looks stupid. I don't want to look like a drug dealer. I want to look like a guy who has a nice car, right? Do not put the oversized wheels on these cars. Just don't do it, right? It makes them ride bad. It's bad for the brakes. It's bad for the A-arms, and you look stupid. All right, the interior of these cars is absolutely amazing. It's pretty dark in here with the bright light here. The carpets that go in here are wool mats. Now, to buy those from Rolls-Royce, you're going to spend $4,000. I got lucky and found a used set on eBay for 600 bucks. They're incredibly robust. You can clean them, fluff them up, vacuum them, and believe it or not, I mean, it's thick wool. I don't think I could take it out because they're pinned in. But anyway, they're fastened in so they don't move around. This car also, one of the options it has is it has the raised areas for your feet. I mean, it just has everything. It has everything. You know, all of them have the powered doors. There's a button here that operates the door, and of course they all have the umbrellas. Now my umbrellas were missing. You can find the umbrellas, the plain regular ones that aren't bespoke, because you could get them in any color you wanted, like to match the car, but the black is fine with me. But you can get these off of eBay for a couple $100 a piece. And I've demonstrated this before. I actually use my umbrellas all the time. It's just an umbrella at the end of the day. These are like carbon fiber poles. It's polished stainless steel. I mean, they are really nice umbrellas. And the purpose of the umbrella is the obvious for rain. But as a chauffeur, I watched a chauffeur class on owning the Rolls-Royce. As a chauffeur, you would have your umbrella ready, and you would do this as Milady got out of the car with her dress on to protect any, remember the Britney Spears getting out of the, what was it, the Lamborghini, and everybody got a good look at her baby maker? That's what this is for. You can protect them, and then you can hide the paparazzi from your high-profile guest, or you can use it if it's like raining. I live in Las Vegas, so this doesn't see a lot of action here. It'd be good for the sun, though. It'd be good for that. But yep, that's all it is to it. This goes in there like that, goes right back into the door, and that's that. Also, never, ever, ever slam the door on these cars. Let me show you. You just get it close, and it just sucks itself in. Look at that. Watch. Just that's it. Don't slam my door. All right, so we're inside the car here. I'm going to show you a couple of little party tricks that the car does. This is your iDrive control. When you open this door, it automatically opens the screen. You press down on this. You know, when people try to compare this car to the 760, all right, I'm going to zoom in on this. This knob is polished stainless steel and wrapped in leather. It's heavy, right? Same thing with this volume knob. This thing feels like it weighs like a pound. Like it's heavy, right? Everything in here, like even these buttons, these are not like plastic. This is metal. You know, these are metal. This is metal with glass insert. It's metal. This is like the only plastic, this little surround, but otherwise it's wood and metal. All right, let's go back to this screen here. Let me take you, all right, I got the phone turned off. Let's see, we're gonna go to, well, I don't have the radio on. Let me turn it on. So you have CD player here. Underneath here, let me see if I can get to it. If you could see, is your CD changer. Let me zoom in a little bit. There you go. It's in there. There's the eject button. Now, back behind, under that seat back down there is a little door that opens up, and that's where your DVD changer is. You have a CD slot here, okay? We're going to make a video about this sooner than later, but there is an adapter that you can use that you will replace your CD changer with a module that emulates the CD changer, will allow you to plug in an iPod, which uses an adapter, to an iPhone. So it has like a 30-pin connector that connects to a lightning connector, the USB thing that goes to your phone, and you can stream music through. Because what you do is when you hit CD once, you get this CD. When you hit CD again, you get that one. So you would hit CD twice, it would go to the phone, and you'd be able to play your phone through here. But I just was going to demonstrate real quickly the reverse camera, putting it into reverse. You got this little television. There's nothing to really look at here because it's just a parking lot. But you can choose, if you like, to instead of using the camera, have the park distance control, which, let me see, if I actually, I'm going to try to, like, if I don't hit anything, I'm going to back up towards this wall. Hold on a second here. So you've seen the park distance control before, but there it is. It's a radar system. Now, if I were to go to the camera, there's the wall. So let me go forward and it'll return back to normal. Okay, now check this out. I'm going to demonstrate for you by pulling on the bright lights twice. It'll switch to the front camera. Oh, let me go. There we go. You only got to pull on it once. I'm sorry. Now it's showing me left and right, because on the left there's a wall, and on the right is my parking lot. And I'll show you what this is for, right? Well, oops. Hold on. I'm going to pull to my driveway, all the way to my driveway. The sun is like right in my face, so it's kind of a problem. But what this is for is so that you can pull up and just poke your little nose And I can see down each side of the sidewalk to see if some bonehead's coming down here on a skateboard or whatever. Because the car is so big, right, that I can't see past the wall. So let's back it up. Go back into reverse. There we go. Back out of here. I'm gonna cheat back over behind this wall because gosh darn sun is killing my face. Get behind this wall. This thing is so ridiculously quiet. Here's something, by the way. This is sort of a BMW thing. It's pretty common now, but you press in for park. I don't like valets. A lot of valets get in the car. They don't know how to put the car into park. They don't understand how it works. If you simply turn the car off, it'll default to park. That's pretty much most of the party tricks. I mean, you have your sunroof, which opens up. It'll close, and then you can also, let's see, there we go. And you have the tilt. That's closed. Then you have to manually close that. This little center button is what they call like the boulevard lighting, I think, and this lights up each of your door handles. Also, just little areas around the car, and you can have that on while you're driving. We have the lift mode on. If I turn that off, if I'm real steady, you might be able to see the car move. Maybe not. It only moves by a couple of inches. I like to have the lift mode on. I've added these black view front and rear cameras. Those wires are a little messy. I need to tuck them up under the headline a little more. But you do want to have cameras in the car if you can. But again, here we go. No check engine light. And the car is running. It's totally quiet. Here's a problem that I've had with every single one of these. The fans, right? When you turn on your blower motors, you're going to hear the servos. Maybe not with this microphone. Sometimes I'll get these little squeakity squeaks with the sorry, my microphone was in the way. Let me get that out of the way. Sorry. Well, it's even in the way more now. Sorry. Can't hear it right now. But when your little fan motor squeaks, oh my God. Because it's so quiet in here, you can hear a mouse fart. So, it's really annoying. Let's go hop in the back so I can kind of show you what's happening back there. Let's do this real time. Oh, my leather jacket back here. It's a Versace. Let me show you if I can here. This is there's my hat. I was looking for that. This is a little footrest thing you can have up if you want to rest your feet. Okay, you've got your picnic table. Let me get in here. I'll try to show you. Here's the door closing mechanism. Behind each seat you have this little screen here. Shows you what's happening. Here, I'll turn on that boulevard lighting I was talking about. It lights up the door handles. These little mirrors here. You have a picnic table, which sits here. Now, how do you control the screen? Check it out. Let me show you. My jacket out of the way. Also, real quick before I get into that, you've got I didn't realize I had those on high heat. Let me turn that down. So you have separate controls for each person on each side. You can open and close the vent, change the speed, the temperature. You have additional vents over here on this sidewall, and you have vents down on your feet. So what do you got? 1, 2, 3, 4 per person. Right? You also have a lighted vanity back here. You can see how pretty you are. Hi. Natural lighting. You have the oh shit handle. Place to hanger. Individual lighting. Okay. All right, now let's talk about this right here. Let me try to do this. So you've got this little control panel that pops out. It's a little sticky. There we go. And darn, I forgot to point out down here. This is upside down, but you got cup holders here and also seat heaters. Sorry if that's upside down. Anyway, with this little control here, I'm trying to do this with both hands. You can control, as you can see here, let me zoom in, AM, FM, CD, up and down controls, and you have another iDrive. So I can go to satellite radio here. Let's see, sat channels. Of course, I can't play the music here on YouTube. Let's go find a good channel. Ozzy's Boneyard. I like it. Okay, let's hit it again. Or King's X. Let's see. So I have a volume control here. Okay. There's like, I don't know, 15 something speakers, Lexicon system. Probably one of the best sound systems you're ever going to sit in because the acoustics in here, you can tell that there's like no echo or anything. But anyway, you have full control. And if you had the DVD player hooked up, you'd be able to do that as well. Let's see what's on Hair Nation. Hopefully they're playing Kiss. Let's see. Rat. You're in love, Stephen Piercy. I saw him the other day. He lives in Vegas. You're in love. Yeah. All right. I'm in love with this car. So, this is the features that you're going to find. Only, you know, my other car didn't have this. It's not sticking. There we go. Okay, there we go. These are the things that you're going to want to try to have in the car to make life happy, in my opinion, because look at the room in this thing. Jesus Christ. Like, I'm 6'2", 210 pounds. I'm a big dude. This thing is so awesome. My headliner is getting saggy. I'm going to have this worked on. I got to have this pulled out. I'm going to redo it in like a suede or an Alcantara. And then I'm going to have the little starlights put in. That's going to be cool. So I want to have all this redone in black. I don't know why they did it in this lighter color, but I don't like that it's hanging. That's very embarrassing. Those are things that are going to happen when you got a car that's like 15 years old and little heat gets to it. But anyway, if you're shopping for a Rolls-Royce Phantom, because they're starting to get into the affordable price range. I know people will make comments and go, oh yeah, like I'm going to go buy one of those. Think about it. How many cars are 100 grand now? Teslas, Rivians, pickup trucks. New Grand Wagoneer's like $150,000 tricked out. In my opinion, right, you could go buy a brand new depreciative car, right, like one of these electric vehicles or some other kind of luxury vehicle and spend 100 grand on it. Or you could spend 100 grand on a 10, 15-year-old Rolls-Royce and put a little bit of money fixing it up. And let me tell you, like, what else do you need, right? It's got a kick-ass stereo system. It's got the ride of the century. There's nothing that rides like this car. I mean, there's just nothing like it. There really is nothing like it. And people don't know the difference between a new Rolls and an old Rolls. They don't know a 2006 from a 2016. I know that they didn't do any major changes to this car till 2018. And the first design changes of the bumpers and stuff didn't happen till like 2010, I want to say. Maybe 2009, I think it was. They rounded off the bumpers. And I don't really like the newer ones so much. They keep rounding it off. They took off the sharp edges and they keep making the grill smaller. And I like those firm features. Look at this dash. Bro, look at this dash. Do you know of another car? Look at this. Look at this picture. Look at that thing. Come on, man. What are you going to buy that has that? Like, that might not be your gig. All right, I get it. You're like, oh, this is for old men. This is okay, Gramps. Okay, Boomer. All right. Yeah, man, you have like a tree in your car. Yeah, not everybody's into burled walnut. Not everybody wants 17 cow hides worth of dead animals in the car. There are 17 cows worth of fine Bridge of Weir leather in this car. Not everybody wants to be, you know, and it's not slow, by the way. It's a V12. It's like 500-600 horsepower, something like that. You know, it's like 0 to 60 in like 6 seconds at a top speed of 155 miles an hour. It's not slow. But this thing weighs like 6,000 pounds. And I love the feel of a heavy car. I love feeling that weight shift around. I like being able to, look at the room I have. Can you see the room I have in this thing? And I'm a big fat American. Look at me. I might, look, you know, come on. My knees are, and keep in mind, I've got my driver's seat back because I'm big. So I'm saying that it's not crazy out of reach for a lot of you to be able to buy one of these cars. There's thousands of them out there. And if you are going to buy one, I'm just telling you that be patient. Wait till you find the right one. I mean, you're going to find these other cars out there for as little as 80, 90 grand. I got this one for a crazy steal because this, if you know the story on this car, it was a salvage title. I got it from, it was like a salvage auction. Got it for like 60 grand or less. It was like 58,000 I paid. And then I've probably put another 20 grand in it, but still, even then, it's a bargain. No, it's not for sale. I don't sell Rolls-Royces. I get emails all the time. People see my videos and they're like, I'm interested in buying a Rolls-Royce. I'm like, well, then go buy one. Why are you asking me? I don't sell Rolls-Royces. That's not my gig, okay? Go buy one from somebody. It's not my thing. Anyway, the point is that if you get in the market for one of these are some of the things that you're going to want to look for. Because at this age, at 15 years old and over 30, 40,000 miles, which is like, these cars don't have a lot of miles, be prepared to do new shocks, be prepared to do the brakes, be prepared to do the front, end on the suspension, be prepared to have to do fuel system things like what I just did. You need to have 10, 20 grand to throw on top of the car, depending on what it is. And then also be prepared to have that high maintenance as you continue to go. That's the cost of driving one of these. And if you want to know the truth, it's absolutely worth it. Undoubtedly worth it. There has not been another car I've ever owned as awesome as this thing. And I have some cool cars. But talk about class, talk about prestige, talk about luxury. I know there's a lot of cars out there you can buy for a whole lot less money, and you can try to compare the Mercedes and the this and this and the that and the Maybach, whatever. Let me just tell you, as a guy who lives in Las Vegas, right off the strip, when I take this thing out, I get more respect in this car than I get in any other car. And there's a difference between like interest and respect. Let me explain. You pull up in a, Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever. People just look at you like you're a douchebag. Just like, man, look at this guy, You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. This, they treat you with respect. They may not know who you are or whatever. They just know that whoever you are, you're important. And you are to be treated with respect. They refer to you as Mr. Right? Mr. Moseley, your car will be here waiting for you at the kiosk. We'll keep an eye on it. Thank you very much. You pull up in the Ferrari, they're like, yeah, bruh. Yeah, bruh. Bruh. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see the difference? What I'm trying to say? And I don't think there's a car out there that gives you that level of respect. There just really isn't. Not a Bentley, not a Maybach, not a Range Rover. There's absolutely nothing. The Rolls-Royce Phantom is the king of kings. There's just nothing that tops it. I don't care what you got. Your Pagani, your whatever. Those are just douchebag cars, man. I'm just saying. I've seen guys in like a Veyron, and I just go, ugh. There's a difference between, that and respect. And when I take off in one of my sports cars, I get treated like a bruh. What's a bruh? This thing, they call me Mr. and Sir. That's the difference between this and a BMW 760. And until you've owned one and experienced that, are you a valet watching? Are you someone who is a valet, works in the car industry? Confirm this for me. Confirm this for me that When you, and I'm not talking about a Ghost or a Wraith either. Those are the cheap ones. And when a Phantom pulls up, who's ever in that Phantom, you just assume is really fucking important. Am I right? Post down in the comments how you feel about it when you see the Rolls-Royce Phantom rolling up. All right, guys. I apologize if this was a long, rambling rant video. Sorry about that. But people keep begging me for more content on the Rolls-Royce Phantom, and this has basically been the update. And I just got to tell you, if I finally got my Department of Nevada Vehicles there smog test pass, and I got to tell you, if you are in Las Vegas, the only guys to go to are the BMW only, or Rolls-Royce and BMW only, Werkstatt, if you know how to spell that, with a W. They're on Ramrod in Green Valley, right over here by where I live, Henderson area, right off of Sunset. Victor. They take care of all, you can go to Tobin Rolls-Royce, but if you don't have a new car that you bought from them and pay with bricks of gold, and you're not a celebrity, I've been told that they just don't give the kind of customer service that you would want. And by the way, they're just, charge you for, listen, it's still expensive. But the work that I just paid $6,000 for would have been more than double that if I'd have taken it to the Rolls-Royce dealer. And they'd have probably had the car forever. He came, picked me up at my house, dropped me off, right? Full concierge service. Calls me on the phone, texts me videos, pictures, worked with me, sold me parts for a good price. And that's what you want. If you can develop a relationship with a mechanic like that, if you're lucky enough to live in Wichita and have the car wizard, then if you can find somebody like that that's your friend, that'll help you keep this car alive, that's the only way to do it. And it also helps if you can work on stuff yourself. You gotta remember, I have my own full shop and my own mechanics and stuff. But certain things are out of my league. People are like, why don't you just work on it yourself? I'm not some kind of goddamn perfect mechanic. I know how to do some stuff, but these are complicated cars. I mean, Rolls-Royce makes jet engines, right? And when you look at what's under the bonnet of this thing, and you look at that mess that's under there, you're just like, dude. I did the plugs and coils and some other stuff on this thing. I changed the oil on it, but I'm like, bro, those fuel pumps, I'm not contorting myself like a acrobat and getting up in there. No, forget it. Here's the money. If I can afford, and that's basically the common thread. If you can afford to buy one of these, you can afford to fix it. Do not buy one of these cars if you can't afford to fix it. Like if you just are working paycheck to paycheck and you want to try to pretend to look rich, no. If you don't have like money in the bank, if you don't have revolving credit, if you don't have one of these right here, right? See this thing? If you don't have a card that's metal, do not buy one of these cars. I'm warning you now. I'm not trying to brag. Otherwise, get a Lexus. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry the video was so long. But the way I look at it is, if you're somebody that's potentially about to spend over $100,000 on one of these cars, you're going to want to listen to every word I say, because I've been a Rolls-Royce owner and daily driver since, when did I buy my first one? 2018, so it's been a few years. And I've put an accumulative probably, 100,000 miles on the 3 different Rolls-Royces that I have. And I've had to work on every part of it. I've been sitting here with this thing running the whole time, and it is dead silent. I don't hear much of anything. And you can barely hear the cars that are out there because all the windows are double glazed. Keep that in mind. If there's a chip or break in the windshield, $8-9 grand. These side windows, $4,000 a piece. Don't buy this car if you can't park it indoors. Don't buy this car if you have to drive it and leave it outside at your destination. If you're going to drive it to work and leave it in the parking lot, don't do that. Okay? These are things you need to consider. Do not leave this car outside. Don't do it. It's one thing, you know, you go to a store. I only take this car when I'm going to a specific place where I can kind of keep an eye on it. It's valet parked, it's parked up front, it's in a secure garage or whatever the situation is. That's why I have like 25 different cars. That's why I bought that Lexus, so that that's my beater that I take to the store. I don't take this thing to Walmart. I took it to Walmart one time. I came out and there was footprints on the hood. Somebody jumped up on top of it and made a video or whatever. It's probably on TikTok of them dancing on the hood of my car. Thank God they were skinny, or it didn't hurt anything. The thing's built like a tank, so it didn't dent anything. Thank goodness. But I'm just saying, that's the kind of stuff you're going to deal with. Right? People are going to want to key the car. They're going to want to steal the hubcaps. They're going to want to steal the hood ornament. They just hate you because you have achieved something that they haven't. And that's just the reality of things. Right? I keep with me, here's something, I carry, I started carrying this with me all the time. It's bear spray. Because there's bears in this neighborhood. There's a lot of bears. There's a lot of bears in West Hollywood. You know. And keep a pistol on you. I'm serious. I'm not making jokes. This is what it is to own one of these cars. And you need to think about those things. Okay? So my recommendation is to not buy one. I'm trying to talk you out of it. Because you need to be prepared for the responsibility of what it is to have a car like this. The kind of people that have cars like this are used to having Testarossas, Countachs, whatever, you know. This is not, this is a tough car to have for the first time. You know, you might be finding some success in your life, and you're like, I want to live my dream, blah, 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 blah. You know, you're going to want to have plenty of credit. I have no debt. I have lots of revolving credit, and I'm cash flow positive. So if I have to take this car in for $3,000 worth of work, it's no skin off my back. And that's got to be the attitude. It's like owning an airplane or a boat. You're just going to throw money into it. Doesn't mean it's a bad car, right? Doesn't mean it's a piece of shit. It's just what it is. It's just like owning an estate. I have a big house, right? You got to trim the bushes. You got to mow the grass. You got to fix the sprinklers. You got to clean the pool. You want to have stuff like that. It costs money. Doesn't mean my house is a piece of shit. It means it's a big fucking house. I got to have guys come over here and do the bushes and the trees, clean the pool, clean out all the drains. If I don't clean the leaves out of the drains, then I get water back up. And we have to maintain the well and the water system, right? You got to go take care of the water softeners. I got all these different people that I have to rely on to keep this place from turning into a trash heap. You ever go look at a abandoned mansion after a couple of years and it looks like it's in a third world country? It's a full-time job, right? It's a full-time. So that's what it is to own a car like this. It's like owning a plane. It's like owning a boat. It's like having an RV or a bus. All of these things that I've done in the past. And that's what it is. It's not the same thing as when you buy like a Toyota Corolla and you just leave it and you don't ever change oil in it for 10,000, 20,000 miles and nobody cares. So I'm sorry if some of this is off-putting or offensive or pretentious, or if it sounds like I'm bragging or something like that. These might be first world problems. It's just what it is. I just want to be honest with you so you understand what's happening. Sorry, I keep ranting on and on. This video is probably an hour long. Who gives a shit? Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content, we'll be doing more on this car. I will be doing that addition, putting the Bluetooth, the phone. It's not a Bluetooth streamer. It's a direct connection phone streaming player that will replace the CD changer. That's going to be happening soon. And a couple other things. And we're going to be working on some other cars too. So if you like this kind of content. By the way, go into my channel, go to the videos content, go into the search bar and put in Phantom or Rolls-Royce, and you can find the other videos that I've done on this car and my other Phantom as well for the last couple of years. A lot of great stuff if you're working on the car yourself. However, please do not contact me asking me for advice on how to do this, how to do that. That's not what I do, because I probably won't be able to answer the question for you. I'm figuring this out just like you are. So good luck. All right? I'm out of here. I'm going to go get something to eat. I live in Las Vegas. I'm going to go have some fun. It's beautiful outside. See you later. Bye.
Subscribe to Videobob because I know where you live, bitch.